Hi Alex, I've been sorting out a few more odds and ends. I've just started on that little cabinet upstairs with these little slide-in sections, and some of them contain some quite unusual bulbs and items. They're not all lamps. Anyway, the first one I'll just show you. Doing it this way because I can get more lamps in than I can normally. And it might be easier just so it is. It's a Philips mini watt. Looks like a 1900 1N44. Now looking at it you'd think, oh, it's a bulb, but it's not. It's got the normal, well, it's not normal, but it's a valve pin end there. There's a valve would have, or a tube. But look inside. I think I can get it as clear as I can. You've got a filament which is a drawn wire, and it's a barretter. A barretter which was used for the control of voltages and that. Often in wireless sets or radios, the heater chain in valves, you'd use one of these in circuit, and it was used to control the actual current through the valve or through the valve heaters. Well, that's one there. There were several, I say several barretters made, but this is one example. It's intact, but don't expect it to light up. If anything, it'll do it harm. And the gas that's in there is hydrogen. I think the actual filament's made of iron. Alec will probably confirm I'm either right or wrong, but I know it's hydrogen gas. And of course it doesn't explode the first time it's used because it's just hydrogen. There's no oxygen with it. Without oxygen, hydrogen won't burn. Well, I'll pop that one down. We should have a little quiz, really. I should say now, what is that? It's got a normal Edison screw base. I know the lighting's not very good here, so I'll turn around so I'm under the light. It's got a normal Edison screw base and a vertical filament. Get it under there so you can see what we're looking at. I wish it was a bit lighter outside, but it's not, so we'll have to manage as we do. There's a filament there, it's very, very thin. This too is a barretter. And on the side, once again, I'll read it out. It's made by Siemens. Now that's Siemens Brothers, so it's the English Siemens. Patent barretter. And there is a number there as well. It's not very clear. It looks like, I'm only guessing. It's not all there. The number's not all there. But it's a barretter. And once again, that is intact. You might just see the actual filament. Now, this is actual lamp. It looks like it's Osram. The printing on it is, or the things on there is not very clear. It looks like it's 235 volt, 25 watt. Yeah, it looks like 235 volt. It sounds to me like a Continental job. So it's probably the German Philips. There's a lamp to give you an idea of the size of it. It's a small tubular. I haven't tried it or anything, but I would assume it possibly works. It's obviously had a little bit of usage because it's been in that way round, because you can see a little bit of darkening on the inside of the glass. But I would say a German tubular lamp by Osram. Here we have another tubular, and this one 110 volts, 40 watt. It's Mazda UK. I'd say it's quite old. It's got what I would call the rough service type filament. In other words, you know, it goes the whole length of the lamp, and it's intact. It looks to me like it's never been used. One way to tell if a lamp has been used is this, the solder marks. If it's got a little impression there, then it's obviously been screwed into a lamp holder, and that would go for the bayonet ones as well. You can see sort of marks on the soft solder contact bits. This one's untouched. So, a nice little tubular. A few years old, but not ancient. As I say, I've got quite a few interesting things in this cabinet, and they came from that collector up north, Julian. I got quite a few very nice items. Here we've got I think it's an American lamp. It doesn't actually, yes it does. Yes it does. Philips. It's got the old Philips name at the top there. It might show up, I don't know. But I'll read it out, it's easier. Philips. There's something underneath there as well. Looks like 20 watts. It's USA, and it's 120 volts. So yeah, it's Philips, 20 watt, 120 volts, USA, and that's a tubular. And unusual because you've got a bayonet cap, small bayonet cap. And looking at the solder connections, I would say that's never been plugged in to a holder. There's no marks on it, or there's no deep marks, so I'd say that has never been plugged in. It's outside frost. It's a typical arrangement inside that holds the filament. That looks like a worker as well. Now we have next. Now I don't know what this was out of. It is a glow starter. And see in there, if it will liven up a bit. You've got a heating element there, and surrounding that is a bimetallic strip, which the heater comes on, and it'll cause the bimetallic strip to touch and short out, or in this case it looks like it opens the circuit up. So as I say, I've got no idea what this would have been for, but it's showing at the moment that the contact is actually made. Sorry, it's not livening up a bit. I think I put this up before somewhere. It's got S on the base, side contacts. It looks like this was actually put into something. I just don't know. So anyone out there's got an idea. You've got any ideas, Alec? So say it's a little bit different. Anyhow, put one down. Now we've got an interesting item. That is neon, and you've got a plus mark. Now if you think of DC, you would only light up one electrode. You wouldn't light them both up. And you look here, there's two electrodes. One's a ring electrode and one is the electrode in the form of a cross or positive. And I think what this was used for, if you wanted to find the polarity of a DC circuit, now obviously you'd need to have the circuit resistant. And in fact, look, there's writing on there. I might be totally wrong. I didn't realise there was writing on there. I still think that's what it is. It's obviously Philips, made in Holland. 110 to 750 volts. Well, that could well be the operating voltage of this. It doesn't say it's a polarity tester. I would assume that's what it is. So if it connects up to DC and the cross lights up, that would indicate that that side, which is going to this contact there, would be positive side of the circuit. I've never ever seen one of these before. Another little curio, and I do love curios, and that to me is definitely a curio. Let's have another look at it. You've seen the same lamp, but with the pearl or frosted finish. This one, I'm just looking to see if there's a name on there. Without getting very close to it, I'm not going to say what it is. It's obviously akin to the other one. There's this one that I showed, the pearl one. Filament is intact. You can see how they do it with this one. Tubular. And it's a worker. And it's a small bayonet cap again. SBC. Now we've got a couple of other bulbs here, which is this is 250 volts at 7.5 watt. This would probably be used for one of those little night lights that you plug in, and when it gets dark it comes alight. That's what that would have been. And the cap is a small Edison screw, I think. Yeah, it's not candelabra. I'm going to show you a candelabra. That one I've just picked up. It's a candelabra thread or cap, and I put the two side by side. There's the two sizes. So this one's candelabra thread, and this one is small Edison screw, which would be used in Europe and England. And while we're talking about sizes of threads, this is 17. It's a size that is used on those little tiny fluorescent starters, the Japanese ones. This is not a fluorescent starter. This is UV light out of an aquarium water filter or cleaner, and as you can see, it is very well worn out. But anyway, just give the idea of the size of the cap. And the last, oh no, we've got another one here. There's another one with the same size cap. I don't know, there's nothing on here at all to give a clue, but I would think it might have come out of a microwave, because microwaves did have strange size lamps in it, and some had unusual caps. Well, this one is the same size. 17's the number. I can never remember numbers. I'm number blind, so you'll have to excuse me. One number looks the same as any other number. Well, there's the base. Oh, wait a minute, what's written on the back here? Sometimes, but not in this case. There is something written. Looks like KYR. You often get things written around the actual base, because there's a bit of area there. It looks like, yeah, there's something written on the K. It's not very clear what is written on there. But anyhow, I'd think that's possibly a microwave lamp. Anyhow, the last item is this. I've got no idea what it would have been used for. It's I say, it looks very much like it could be a rectifier, but I'm probably wrong. You've got an anode there, or plate. It's in America, they call them plate. We call them anodes. It looks like there's a heater which goes inside there. You've got two connectors apart from the pins that go to the heater, so it looks as though, yeah, those pins are just there as additional to the pins in the base. So those two bottom connectors would connect up to the heater. Now the top two are physically connected. So this would tell me it's a rectifier. But there again, there's two. There may be a grid inside there. Unfortunately, my eyes are not good enough to see in there, and it's shielded by the anode. No, there is a grid in there. There's a grid. So it's possibly a triode. Well, I can see it with me. When I put the camera on it, you can't see it. There we are. It looks like a grid. So it's an interesting item. Possibly a triode. I don't know whether Alex has got some ideas. He probably has, but that's what I would say it was, a triode. Anyhow, that's all for this little time. I'll put these up, and it's a few interesting items. This is the easiest way of doing them because I've got so many different items upstairs. If I was to go through everyone individually, it would just take ages. So once again, any comments please make. I can't think of anything else. No, I can't think of anything else. Now, while I'm standing here, I won't show it a light. They do work. Those two candle lamps are actually Russian. I was just looking at one on Alex's page. He's got one of these. It looks brand new. These two, they work, but the caps had to be changed. They were just disintegrated. And I picked that whole light fitting up. I think it was in Hungary. It's obviously Russian, but they do work, but I tend not to turn them on. I was very tempted to run these in series with a small 15-watt lamp to be on the safe side, but anyhow, there we are. And the box in front of that is telephone lamps, which I believe I've certainly shown on the lighting gallery. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Oh, don't look at my antique dust. We all do this. We all do that. Show that it's real antique dust. Anyhow, before I get sidetracked talking about barometers, that's a French barometer, by the way. And my lovely long case clock next to it. Anyhow, enough of this. I've got to put this up. So thanks again for watching. Any comments please make, any ideas please make, and we'll see how we go. Thanks again. Thank you.